It was several weeks ago after a deadly bombing in Jerusalem, an Iranian hackers group named Moses Staff published CCTV footage from the scene claiming to have access to more sensitive materials taken from CCTV cameras here in Israel. This week, an investigative report aired on Israel's public broadcaster Kan 11 showed that the security establishment was aware but did nothing to stop it, as the group published several videos from across Israel, including footage of an arms facility. Bentsi Ben-atar, cybersecurity expert and co-founder of Sepio, is here with me in the studio. Bentsi, thank you so much for joining me today. So, what cameras exactly are we talking of, and what materials were taken from it?
Okay, so we're talking about the street CCTV cameras that are used in various smart cities installations. They are extremely popular, especially coming from vendors from the eastern part of the world. And these cameras are considered to be a global threat across the world. Some countries have prohibited the use of these cameras in the US and in the UK, but in Israel they are still widely used without any vendor control. And in this case, what appears to be infiltration into the CCTV's management systems and exfiltrating various pictures.
Do you have to control them in real time, or is the footage stored somewhere and you just penetrate the storage system and take it from there? How is it being hacked and used?
So the obvious value that one sees when someone sees a camera is obviously the visual of that camera, that picture or that video feed that you get from the camera. But what also can be achieved is the fact that every camera is actually a sensor. So this camera can actually map all its surrounding, for example, all the wireless devices that are near it, whether these are Wi-Fi devices or other devices. If they want to record certain events audio-wise or spectral-wise, they can do that using a manipulated camera.
And how popular is it attacking those CCTV cameras? Because it sounds like the soft stomach, the easy target to be attacked.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of other connected devices. It is extremely easy. You can actually find an Excel file with all the cameras, their vulnerabilities, their default passwords, all the relevant information that allows and even an unqualified attacker to take advantage of those weaknesses.
And how do you protect them?
So first of all, you need to verify that you are aware of the full asset inventory of those cameras that you have, to make sure that every camera is accounted for and you don't get new cameras introduced into the network without you knowing about it. The second thing is vendor control, making sure that the cameras that you are using are actually authorized cameras from a reputable vendor. In some countries, some vendors are extremely prohibited from being used. In other countries, there's no such restrictions. But obviously, using a reputable vendor would be the first step in that. And then limiting the access of those cameras, so that even if one camera is compromised, making sure that they do not propagate through that camera into more sensitive information.
But we are exposed all over. I mean, I read a report somewhere that in London, at any given moment, at any given point, you're being surrounded by 30 different CCTV cameras of all kinds, stoplights, shops, etc., etc. So, you know, if you won't be able to penetrate one, you'll penetrate the other. We are naked in that sense.
Yeah, so obviously the UK is really the leader in everything that has to do with smart cities and surveillance cameras, but they are also the ones that recently adopted a ruling that ban specific vendors. So that means, okay, it's okay to use and implement a smart city system, but you want to make sure that the components that are being used are not vulnerable or manipulated by a third party.
And change your code from 12340000 to something
that's always a good practice.
Tell me about Sepio. What exactly is that you're doing at Sepio?
So we at Sepio, we do asset risk management. That means that we help those entities actually manage the risks coming from their assets. So if it's a camera that poses a risk, a high risk to the enterprise or to the organization, then you want to make sure that the operator is fully aware of that and gives it the right attention, whether replacing it or limiting its access over the network.
And one must ask, usually, you know, most owners or managers become serious just after they were penetrated, because you don't want to think of those risks, and that's an investment that is not profitable. Unlike, you know, you invest in furniture or people, etc., etc. How many times you get to those clients after they were penetrated, and you tell them it was so easy. I told you so.
Yeah, so that's obviously an incident is obviously a great motivator, and an event always tends to bend bureaucracy when you deal with procurement of security solutions. And again, it's something that, you know, people fear that it will happen, but once it happens, they'll go run and buy those security products to protect them.
Interesting. Bentsi Ben-atar, cybersecurity expert and co-founder of Sepio. Thank you so much for joining me today.